this is going to be the introduction to histograms. Histograms are very similar to dot plots, except for when you look at a histogram, the histogram is going to give you ranges of data instead of specific numbers. So a histogram is a bar graph used to display the frequency, so once again the frequency, of data divided into equal intervals. The bars must be of equal width and should touch but not overlap. The height of each of the bars gives the frequency of the data value. Once again, we're going to give ourselves a little checklist of what we need to make sure to remember so we don't forget anything. Give your histogram a, yep, you called it, title. Make sure the intervals chosen make sense. And then last but not least, label your x-axis and y-axis. So over here it says Mrs. Smith surveyed her 6th grade class on how many books each of the students read over summer break. Below is the data from the survey. 6 students said they read between 0 and 3. So this is an interval. It means that 0, 1, 2, and 3 fit into this particular category. 8 students read 4 to 7. So this would be 4 books, 5 books, 6 books, 7 books. Okay. 5 students read 8 to 11, and 7 students read 12 to 15. Notice that each of these intervals, let's look at it. We've got 0, 1, 2, 3. For this one, we've got 4, 5, 6, and 7. For this one, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11 for this one, and then 12, 13, 14, 15 for this one. So I'm hoping you notice that when we talk about the intervals being equally spaced, they each consist of, in this case, 4 numbers. Okay? It's not like this one's 4 numbers and this one's 2 and this one's 5 and this one's 3. They all have 4 numbers, so they're equally spaced. So over here to the right, it says on the grid provided, create a histogram to represent the data set. I'm going to look at my handy dandy checklist. It says give your histogram a title. So what are we doing? We're talking about the summer reading. We're talking about how much they read during the summer. So I'm going to go ahead up at the top and say summer reading. Okay. Then it says make sure your intervals chosen make sense. So they gave us the intervals, so this is easy peasy. Our first interval is our 0 through 3. So I'm going to write 0 through 3 here. And then I'm going to write 4 to 7 here. 8 to 11 here. And then 12 to 15 here. Okay? So each one of these lines, these columns here, is representing one of our intervals. Now I need to label what the different parts are. So how tall it goes up is the number of students. So I'm going to go ahead and put number of students for my y-axis. Remember, your y-axis is your vertical axis. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to put number of books. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to squeeze it in there. Number of books. That way somebody looking at your graph will know exactly what it is. Okay, so in order to finish this histogram, I'm going to look over here and it says 6 students read 0 to 3. So in this little 0 to 3 category, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now notice that the intervals touch. There's no space in between the bars. In a bar graph, oftentimes you'll see space in between the bars, but specifically in a histogram, we're not putting any space. We're putting these things right next to each other. The next one says 8 students did 4 to 7. I know that if this is 6, I just need to go 2 more. So that looks like it's our whole thing, and I can go back and color it better later if I want, but I kind of want to just get going. And then 8 through 11 has 5 students, so that would be one less than 6, so that should be fine. And then 12 through 15 has 7, which should be right up here underneath the 8. And that is that. That's how you create a histogram. Okay? So you're going to name the histogram. You're going to label the X and Y axis. You're going to put your intervals at the bottom. And you're going to graph each set of points per interval. So there's 6 students for the first interval, 8 students for the second, 5 students for the third, and then 7 students for the last. Now once again, we have different ways of looking at these graphs. I gotta come up with a better situation to make it easier to move this. So let's look down at the bottom. Good news is it's very similar to a dot plot. Symmetric, looks pretty much the same on both sides. Skewed left, we've got a tail on the left. Skewed right, we've got a tail on the right. Uniform, they all pretty much look the same. Okay, so we don't have to learn several sets. It's going to be the same types of graphs in both dot plots and histograms. Let's go ahead and look at the guided practice together. I'm going to do the dot plot here, and then maybe one of the histograms, and then I'll have you guys finish up. So let's go ahead and look at this very first dot plot. I'm going to skew this out so it's a little easier to see. Okay. It says, take a closer look at the above dot plot. Calculate the following measures of center and spread. So we're going to go back from our first lesson and try to find mean, median, mode, and range. And you're probably thinking, well, how do I know? Well, each one of these dots represents the number underneath. So if we're going to add all of these things together, we're going to do for each circle one piece of data. Okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to get my handy dandy calculator out again. Now I know anything times 0 is just 0, so that first column is just 0. I don't need to worry about it. I need to look here though and say, well, how many dots are in the second column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 0.5 is 4. Okay? And then if this is 8, this has 2 more, so it should be 10. So 10 times 1 is 10. And then we keep going. So this one should be 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 1.5 equals 10.5. So we've got 10.5 here. Then 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Then we have 3, 2.5. So 3 times 2.5 equals 7.5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. And then, of course, this just equals 0 because it's 0. So same as before, we need to add together all of this data and divide by the number of points. So I'm going to take my 4 plus 10 plus 10.5 plus 10 plus 7.5 plus 12. Okay, and that gives me a sum of 54. Now I need to figure out how many dots there are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So there are 43 data points on my graph. I'm going to double check my math just to make sure that 54 was correct like I told you before. So I'm going to say 0 plus 4 plus 10 plus 10.5 plus 10 plus 7.5 plus 12 equals, I still got 54, so that's good. So I'm going to take my 54 and I'm going to divide it by my 43 points. So 54 is already on my calculator. I hit divide, and then we're going to do by 43, hit the equals, And I don't see anything that says word around 2, so I'm going to go to the hundredths. So I'm going to say 1 and 26 hundredths, because if I look at the hundredths place, there's a 5. If I look over to the right, there's a 5. That 5 tells me to go up 1. So I took this 5 and went up 1 to 6. Okay. If I line these data points up equally, there's 43 of them, so that's odd. Halfway through, we're going to have 1 on both sides. Let's see. If I divide 42 in half, there would be 21 on each side, so that 22nd one is going to be the middle. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 1 is going to be my median. Okay, 1.0. Then for mode, it's really easy on a dot plot because it's just the one that's the tallest. So mode is going to be 1, which is good because look, we've got the median and the mode that are very similar. Okay, and then range, I need to say what's my biggest and what's my smallest. So I'm going to take my biggest value of 3 minus my smallest value of 0, and my range is 3. Okay. I'm going to have you guys practice that on your own right here for number 2. So you're going to go ahead and pause and do that one, and then we'll come back in a moment and look at the histograms. All right, thanks for pausing and working on that problem. Now we're going to go ahead and look at number 3. It says the Fahrenheit temperature readings on 20 May mornings in Goshen, New York are shown below. So there's 10 and 10, all these. I'm looking right off the bat, I see they're not in order, okay? And then it says using the data above, fill in the missing information for the following table. So I'm looking at the intervals, and we've got 40 through 44, 45 through 49, and so on. So when I look at these numbers, I'm going to put a little tally mark next to which set they go into. So 41 is going to fit between 40 and 44, so I'm going to put 1 tally and cross it off. 58 is going to fall between 55 and 59, so I'm going to put 1 tally and cross it off. And you're going to go through your entire list of 20. So let's see, 65 goes here, cross it off. 67 goes here, cross it off. 68 goes here, cross it off. 69 goes here, cross it off. Now we're going to go up to 54, that goes here. 55 jumps up to here. 53 back to this one. 48 goes here. 61 goes here. 44 goes here. 49 goes here. 62 goes here. 52, here we go. 57 here. 51 here. 48 here. 64 here, and then 65 goes right here, and I want you to remember how we do tallies. I already have 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that the 5th we're going to cross over, so it's easier to count. Okay, and then next to that, I'm just going to write the number of tallies I had. So for this first interval of 40 to 44, I have 2 tallies, so my frequency is 2. 45 to 49, I have 3 tallies, so my frequency is 3. 50 to 54, I have 4 tallies. Here I have 3 tallies. Here I have 3 tallies. And here I have 5 tallies. Okay, so there we went and we made our table for our histogram. I'm going to let you guys once again pause the video and complete number 4. You're going to use this table right here to create your own histogram. If you need to, look back at the notes. Remember, we've got to label each of the intervals. We have to label the y-axis and the x-axis and give our table a title. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then I will see you back in class.